welcome to Well Wellness. We are David and Kara Barr with Turning Point Wellness. We're located in Lutz, Florida. We're a new wellness clinic, and we have all kinds of options for patients to feel their best. And today we are talking about knee pain. There are a lot of options for knee pain and things we can do to help with it. So, David, tell us about some of the different options that we provide.
Thanks, Kara. The best thing about knee pain, there's plenty of different things that can be done before you have to even consider surgery, which I know most people are going, oh, no, not surgery. So let us tell you that there are lots of great options out there that can help control pain a lot better for the knees. It's probably the number one joint that causes the most problems. Knee pain is probably the most common complaint that we hear in the pain world. Beyond back pain, beyond neck pain, the knees take the most abuse. Unfortunately, they get worn down the fastest. One might think, oh, well, what about the ankle? Not like the pressure the knees take. So the knees certainly have, they certainly get a really good workout. So when we talk about knee pain, we talk about multiple different options, including medication. One of the best things out there is an anti-inflammatory. First thing that comes to mind, Advil, ibuprofen. Very, very helpful. There are medications that are prescription strength, Mobic. We see Celebrex and things like that. Again, can be very, very helpful for pain. If you don't tolerate those, your stomach doesn't like them, what have you, we also have medications that are topical. One of the ones that's used quite frequently is Voltaren gel. It's rubbed on the knee several times a day. The one, though, that we like, the one that Turning Point Wellness promotes, is a medication of our own. It's called For Relief. It is a CBD-rich cream that has multiple ingredients in it, including CBD oil, arnica oil, eucalyptus oil, and emu oil. All of these combined in the formulary that we put together provide an amazing relief of pain. Absolutely amazing. One of the things that I can tell you is we see a 95+% success rate. So what does that mean? What's a success rate? Well, in our book, what we consider a success is reduction of pain by 50% or greater, a lot of times greater, lasting anywhere from 6 to 14 hours, which is what this cream will do for you. It is amazing. Again, 95+%. There are, nothing is foolproof 100% and getting rid of pain. But this certainly has one of the highest percentages I've ever seen. We have lots of exciting things. People tell us they can't believe how much better they feel. We've seen this cream work on neuropathy as well as joint pain and muscle pain. So it certainly is very effective in controlling pain. So one of the things we promote is our CBD cream and oil. Again, For Relief, it's an amazing product. When we go beyond the topicals and the medications like the Advil or the Celebrex, and we go on to the next stages, typically we're getting into injections for the knee. Now, one thing that's starting to fall out of favor a little bit, but everyone's quite familiar with, or I should say most people have heard of, is a steroid injection. Still done. A lot of primary care offices will do steroid injection, but it's not the gold standard. It's not what you really want to go to if you can avoid it. There has been some evidence that it can promote softening of the bone. Not something we really want to get into. We want to make sure that our bones are strong. So is it the worst thing out there? No. Is there other options? Absolutely. Absolutely. And one of the things that we like is hyaluronic acid. Big fancy word. Hyaluronic acids are medications like Genvisc, Trivisc, Supartz, which is our personal favorite. There's all kinds of different hyaluronic acids. So you sit there and say, well, what's a hyaluronic acid? What's a SUPARTZ? What is that? The best way to describe it, and everyone smiles when I say it, but it's an amazing combination of WD-40 and Pepto-Bismol. Now, that's not actually what it is, but that's exactly how it behaves. So it better lubricates your joint, like a WD-40 lubricates, a squeaky wheel, making it a lot easier for you to bend your knee. And it coats over the arthritic changes within the knee. So when it does that, it basically suppresses the arthritis, that it makes it difficult for it to flare. If the arthritis does flare, it's typically very minimal. But most of the time, it suppresses the arthritic flares, reducing your pain significantly. Most people, when they do the injections, not all, again, a good majority, probably 85% of the people out there, when they do the hyaluronic acid injections or the SUPARTZ injections, they get significant relief of pain. Again, 50% or greater. And this time, we see it typically lasting anywhere from 4 to 6 months. The hyaluronic acids can be done once every 6 months. For insurance purposes, that's how often they're covered. They are covered by most insurances. Some insurances have their preferences, but they are covered by most insurances, and that's if you've fulfilled the requirements, you've tried other conservative measures. So that kind of gives you a little gist of what we do when it comes to working with the hyaluronic acids. There are 2 other more organic in nature medications that we use to inject into the knee, and they are Trameal and Zeal. Now, these are organic from plant and root-based oils that are put together in a formulary that are also can be injected into the knee. We have used these and gone head-to-head with utilizing Trameal and Zeal versus steroid, and we're seeing similar results. Can be done every 3 months, just like a steroid, but the advantage is we aren't seeing nearly the same side effects. So that is a huge bonus. The softening of the bone is not there. Anybody who's a diabetic, you know that if you end up on a steroid, most of the time your sugar is going to bounce up a little bit. With Trameal or Zeal, that does not happen. So it is a huge advantage. And it's well-liked and well-tolerated by a lot of people. The National Institute of Health did a head-to-head with steroid study, and they saw that Trameal and Zeal were just as effective as the steroid in reducing pain and helping people with, pain reduction, as well as, mixing with some physical therapy, walking a lot better. So these are certainly some fantastic options. So the injections haven't been helpful. The cream helps to some degree, but you're still having some difficulty with pain and you don't want the knee replacement. There is one other option available that I think at times gets overlooked, and it shouldn't be, but it's radiofrequency ablation, affectionately known as burning of the nerves. What the radiofrequency ablation does is we go after 3 of the genicular nerves. Now, that's a fancy word for nerves of the knee. There are multiple nerves in the knee, but the 3 most that control most of the pain and sensation are on the inside of the knee at the neck of the femur, on the outside of the knee at the neck of the femur, and on the outside of the knee at the neck of the tibia. Now, these 3 nerves manage about 85% of the sensation. So a lot of the other nerves surrounding the knee branch from these. And that is why if we do a radiofrequency ablation, which in a sense, goes in and disrupts the pain receptor portion of the nerve, not the function. We see typically a reduction of 50% pain relief, and it will last up to 6 months, sometimes longer. It can be repeated in 6 months, but a lot of times people notice that they're still getting some pretty good relief even at 9 months or a year. So the radiofrequency ablation is a really nice option. It's not used as much as I think it should be. I mean, people go, oh, I'm just going to go ahead and get it replaced. Even the orthopedists go, oh, you should just go ahead and get it replaced. Well, you know, there are people out there that aren't candidates for a knee replacement. You know, you may be one of them. Your heart doesn't work as well as it should. Your lungs aren't as effective as they should be. You know, things along those lines. You can't tolerate anesthesia to have the knee replaced. Maybe your weight's a concern. You know, a lot of the orthopedists will not do surgeries on people that are, obese. And so you're basically said, well, I guess you're going to have to live with the pain. No, there are definitely options. And that is why here at Turning Point Wellness, we certainly present lots of different options for you. I know that we've had a number of people come in who have been quite pleased with just tolerating their pain with topical creams like our 4 Relief cream. A lot of people do pretty well with just the injections. So there are alternatives before you have to get to knee surgery. I know Kara and I have been taking care of people's knees for years and years and years and seen lots of positive things. Is there anything that you've noticed yourself that...
Well, I find it surprising how often, this is a sample of what our cream looks like, how often something as simple as a cream, even if they have a Voltaren at home and they're like, well, it kind of helps, but try the CBD cream. We give out little samples. We have a philosophy on try before you buy. So that's how we've really gotten people familiar with the product, is giving them a sample so they can feel confident in what they're buying. But it's really amazing how often something as simple as a cream can make a difference. And then also, once you get to feeling better, bringing in physical therapy to strengthen. And we have the philosophy of movement is life. So if you don't keep moving, you're going to slide backward in your progress, sometimes be worse than you were before if you don't keep it up. So as we age, that's really important to either, take a movement class at a gym, whether it's yoga, spinning class, just dependent on what your body can tolerate. Yeah, we just want to keep people moving and help them be as active as possible. That's really where you can keep aging symptoms, negative aging symptoms, under control, is by really keeping moving and active. So that's our goal, is to help people be empowered to feel like they can keep moving and keep using those muscles. Keep them strong.
Absolutely. We have many different options available. You may be that person sitting there going, hey, I know I'm overweight and I still have all this knee pain and I'm probably not a surgical candidate. Well, that's the beauty of what we have to offer. There are lots of things. We have a weight loss program to help you lose that weight. We have creams, topicals that can help control your pain so you can start doing more activities so you can maybe lose that weight and get yourself feeling even better. One of the things out there that's the best for improvement of pain is weight management, and that's one of the things that we offer as well. So we have a great opportunity to really improve people's pain. One other option that we use to help with pain is hyperbaric medicine. We have a hyperbaric chamber that can also be utilized in improving pain. As we have inflammation in our body, the hyperbaric chamber is another great option to help control pain. So there's lots of things that we can do, and different options that are available to utilize for better knee pain control, as well as other, joint pain related symptoms. We were mentioning that the 4Relief cream, I had mentioned earlier that it also works for neuropathy. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with neuropathy, that's where we notice numbness or painful numbness in the feet or the legs or even the hands. This cream has been exceptionally beneficial of helping get that pain under control. Diabetics will note that they have neuropathy where they feel numbness or a burning sensation, or they're feeling like they're walking on hot glass in their feet and even in their lower legs, or they don't feel the tips of their toes and they have difficulty noticing sensations at all. And that can become very problematic. What we've seen with our cream, and I know Kara and I have watched it, is people putting this on, and within 7 to 10 minutes, they've noticed that they can feel the carpet again, where they hadn't felt the carpet in years.
Yeah, it's a really rewarding thing to see someone being able to do something quickly that they previously had been unable to feel, to do. All kinds of pain can be minimized, and sometimes it might be unrealistic to think we can completely get rid of the pain if it's been an injury, if there's damage. But if we can just decrease the pain, make it more tolerable. I mean, if you've got a high pain level, to cut it in half, is life-changing. So if we can, cutting it in half is a big win, but even decreasing in any amount that's measurable by the patient, it's a huge win for everyone involved, and can give people a new outlook on life and feel more like they have some power, and that's a big part of what we do also, is empowering people to feel their best. So we have kind of a whole suite of products or services, not really products, but services that all work together for wellness, whether it's weight loss, bioidentical hormone, hyperbaric chamber, the ketamine for depression and anxiety, IV therapy. We have a whole plethora of things that can go together and work to make people feel their best.
Yeah, especially when we talk about, as we have been here today, is knee pain and some of the neuropathy aspects. There's definitely options. Mm-hmm. There's definitely options before you have to look at surgery. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say, you don't ever have to have surgery, because there is a place and a time when knee surgery is appropriate. But for those that are either not a candidate for surgery or really would like to avoid it at all costs, we do have options available for you. There are things that can be done. Again, I know people are seeing it going, well, I've had injections, they didn't seem to help. Well, there's other things that can be offered. Like I had mentioned, radiofrequency ablation. If that's not something you've heard before, you may have heard that term being used. People have it done on their back. Well, it can certainly be done on the knee as well. And it has great results as well. Again, what's nice about that is it is covered by most insurance companies. So there are times where insurance will pick up the tab for a few things. Again, proper protocol needs to be put in place. But there are options available for, pain relief, especially with the knees. We've seen too many people almost just give up and say, oh, there's just nothing. Well, wait a minute. Hang on. Give us a call. Let us see what we can do for you. We have lots of options. Mm-hmm. We can certainly sort through a lot of different things. Karen and I have been doing this for a number of years, and we've seen some pretty challenging cases. And I know Kara's looked at me and been like, oh my, are we going to be able to help that person? And I'm like, well, let's sit back and think this through, talk about what's next and what's best. And so we can usually come up with a plan. For most of our patients, we've had some pretty good success mm-hmm. with getting their pain better controlled. Again, like Kara mentioned, and this is important, getting rid of all of your pain, not always the most realistic, but a significant drop from an 8 out of 10 to a 4 out of 10, that can be life-changing. Getting you moving better, getting some therapy, utilizing something that's as simple as rubbing a cream on your knee. And what the beauty part about our cream, the For Relief, which I love, is it doesn't take very much. So this big bottle can last you months and months, which is a really nice bonus. Most of the time we have people start with putting it on twice a day, can be used up to 4 times a day. Depends on how much relief you're getting and how long it's lasting. So there's also something we use in conjunction with the cream, and that is a straight CBD oil. Now, we have people utilize the oil underneath their tongue, a few drops, typically 6 in the morning and 6 at night. And we use that in conjunction with the cream. And what we have seen and what we will attest to is, 1, significant pain relief. Again, significant meaning a reduction in pain by about 50%, if not greater. The oil tends to last 12 to 18 hours, sometimes longer. Some people use it only once a day and they get amazing relief. The other thing that it seems to help with quite a bit is anxiety. It does help people reduce their anxiety, which is a nice bonus. And that can certainly be an issue for folks that are dealing with a lot of pain. And then third, we see it help with sleep. People that are suffering from insomnia seem to improve quite a bit. And we have a number of people that we are taking it just for insomnia. They don't deal too much with pain. Maybe their anxiety levels aren't that great. They're not that high, so it's a nice bonus for them. But boy, they have trouble sleeping at night. Well, this seems to help a lot. So those are the 3 things that we certainly promote the oil for. I have seen it personally work on myself, that we use the oil for gout attack. Now, I know Kara watched me suffer with a terrible attack of gout, and within, how long would you say?
Maybe 20 minutes.
Yeah.
With a topical application. And that was before we even realized why your foot was hurting so badly.
Right.
We just were like, well, okay, let's try this. And it got it under control, allowed you to relax. And really, after that, until you had another attack a month later, it solved the problem for the time being. So, gout isn't something that you're gonna, take once and cure, but
right.
It enables you to manage the symptoms.
Right.
And it was dramatic.
It was.
Yeah,
It was.
and that was just topically on the skin. Usually when you take it sublingually under the tongue, it has a systemic, it goes all throughout the body. You get pain reduction everywhere, but when it's topical, it's more focused, just like with the cream. But that was an amazing testament to the power of the CBD oil when you were screaming in pain from...
If I remember correctly, it woke me up at night.
Yeah.
It was in the middle of the night, and we were at a loss for what to do that night.
Yeah.
It was a huge difference.
Yep.
It's a huge difference.
So it's, and those are just things we've experienced personally, but different people have different needs. And so we always encourage people, hey, you've got these tools, you've got the cream, you've got the oil. When something comes up, give it a try, because, it may be a pain or an ache that we haven't had an experience with, but it's an all natural, organic way to treat pain that has no negative side effects. It's the cream and the oil are THC free. It's less than 0.03%.
Yep,
yes. So it's below the threshold of anything that could be detected by the body. So no negatives, all positive. So
I was just thinking, as you were talking about, no negatives, all positives. We've actually used the oil to help with cancer pain. I'll never forget that patient that the primary care wasn't sure what to do. They knew they were dying of cancer. They did not want the opioids. They wanted to stay clear-headed. They even had the option of medical marijuana, and again, they didn't want the fogginess in the brain. Mm-hmm. They wanted to die on their terms. And I'll never forget, I said, I do not know if this is going to help with your cancer pain. I don't know. But you could give this a try, and this is what I would recommend. And yeah, I'll never forget him looking at me and going, well, for $50, I'm willing to give it a try. And I said, all right, let's give this a whirl. That probably was one of the longest weeks I ever waited to see how it was going to work. And I went back to see him, and that was a long walk to that door, praying that he had found some relief.
Yeah.
And the look on his face was priceless. His pain went from a 7 to a 3, if I remember correctly. And we couldn't have been more thrilled. He passed a few months later, but he passed on his terms.
Yep.
That was it was an amazing experience. So we have seen it even work and help with cancer pain. Mm-hmm. So that was a very profound moment. That when you feel like you're ready to give up, and nothing's going to help, hang on, give us a call. Give us a call at Turning Point Wellness. Let us see what we can do. We may have some options for you.
Yeah, and if anyone out there is interested in trying the CBD cream, it's available at forreliefcream.com, and we could ship that right out to you. Or if you're in the neighborhood and want to grab a sample, we do hand out samples too.
We do.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you again next time.